Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to the Sunburst Sanctuary for our Sunday service. Okay. And I especially want to welcome all the people who stayed here for the weekend, who were part of the flute circle celebrations that we had. Welcome to the circle. How our normal flow of the events for this service is we have some brief announcements, then we have some music, and I'll lead the Sunday service talk. We'll go into a brief meditation period, about 15 minutes or so, and then I'll lead us out of that meditation period. We'll end it with some more songs, whatever Al has in store for us. And then at the very end, we'll all kind of migrate over to the lodge, and there's a prepared brunch that we can all partake in, and some social connection time. So thank you everybody for coming, for showing up here, for being present, for bringing the energy down to us. So today's Sunday talk, the subject matter on the sheet that I received, every time we have a rotation of speakers, there's also a rotation of topics that are created by the community at large, and then whenever your name comes up, that's the topic. That's essentially what you got. And so one would think, okay, Power of Affirmations, easy one, right? Well, the quote that was given along with that subject line was by Yogananda, and it says, "Affirmations uttered with soul force will shatter the rocks of difficulties and bring the change desired." And I looked at that and I said, okay, well, I haven't shattered any rocks with my soul force lately. In fact, it's difficult to actually build a positive affirmation and in your life, and to continue with that affirmation and actually see an outcome in that affirmation, because there's this correlation between affirmations and projection. And as a spiritual being, we are all invested in attuning ourselves with the divine, and to discover, or I should say maybe cipher through what it is that the great I am that I am, the creator of all things, has a desire to see manifested in this world, in this creation, in this physical substance here we are finding ourselves in. So Yogananda, who was a great spiritual teacher, he was Norm's teacher, and Norm was the founder of this organization, Sunburst. He had great insight with all of this, but it isn't easy to kind of unpack that and say, okay, well, how is that true for me in my life? Can I, shatter rocks with soul force? So, and what is befitting with all of this is that as a speaker here, I have to kind of lean back and I say, okay, well, where in my life, in my spiritual journey, do I stand with that topic? And it's important to check in and have that little conversation with yourself about, where does truth lie with regard to affirmation, with regard to projection within me? And Yogananda published a little pamphlet which I got my hands on, and it's called the Scientific Healing Affirmations. And in the back of that book, he has listed a few of these affirmations that are, strong and powerful. And what do I do with them? It says, one of these things that kind of stood out and I was kind of surprised to read is, I am free, I am free. I have no habits. I have no habits. I will do what's right. I will do what's right. Uncommanded by habits' might. I am free, I am free. I have no habits. I have no habits. And I said, okay, but is that true for me? And within that, of course, lies this this question that when people are excited and they start working as having affirmations as their goal, it is a lot of times generated by this need for good health or a good life or prosperity in your lives, and that those kind of things start to focus our attention to this need to come into contact with this this magic of affirmation in our lives and in the power of projection, encapsulated in the power of projection. And I thought for a few instances in my life where this was an interesting phenomenon, because at New Year's, Sunburst has often done something what we call the seed ceremony, which is where we light a fire and we all step up to the fire and we do a ceremony where we take a handful of seeds and we chuck them into the flames, and it's actually, you have the seeds in both hands. One of them is the representation of letting go of the things that you want to let go of, and the other one is where you seed the future into being with your other hand. So you're kind of asking for both things, for the freedom of the past, the habits, the things that hold you back, and the other side of it is the things that you want to attract, the spirit, the projection coming into your lives for that. And there was a lady here that used to live here at Sunburst. Her name was Mary Ma, and she had this unique way of doing this ceremony, and she would basically shout the words at the flames, "Swaha!" And I'm not going to say it any louder than that because I'll just redline the microphone, but the power of that was to release and to attract, I guess, attention through the magic of the voice, through the magic of our presence with the fire to bring it, to bring forth an outcome. And I found a quote here from Yogananda that talks about this, the power of the healing affirmations, and it's titled "The Stimulation of Life Force." Now, this is a little wordy. I would suggest closing your eyes and listening with your deep awareness on this. Will or imagination or reason or emotional powers cannot of themselves affect physical healing. They act only as different agents which, according to varying temperament of individuals, may stimulate the life energy to cure an ailment. In the case of paralysis in the arm, if the will or imagination is continuously stimulated, the life energy may suddenly rush to the damaged nerve tissues and healed arm. So that's taking affirmation and the power of positive life force and the will to the far reaches of this physical possibility of like a miracle movement. But there are other ways that, to me, are more subtly, and they bring more of how I perceive, affirmation and the power to me. And I was reminded about an event in my own life when I was living in Nevada, and the community was there. The Sunburst Community had a little spot there in Nevada, a little piece of land. And I was about 18 years old, and I was ready for a life change, ready to kind of get my wings stretched out to do something in life. And it just so happened that Norm, who didn't live on the property, had come for a visit, and I was really anxious to kind of talk to him, and I made sure that we were able to have that time. And in that in that discussion, I kind of like laid out my heart. I said, look, I really, really want there to be a place where we can all be as a community together again, because we're so spread out at that time. People were living in Salt Lake City, in Arizona, and also in Nevada. And he, I guess, must have felt the same things, and it was a topic of discussion in the community at that time as well. But he looked at me with such a smile in his eyes, and he was super eager with the idea of getting land in California again and moving everybody together on that land. And there was such a presence of spirit in that room, in that discussion. I could feel that this desire was not just, say, anchored in like a motivation just for myself, but it was anchored in like, Spirit, what do you want to see happen? Where, guide us into a direction that we can manifest here in this physical plane. And I've had other times where I could see Norm, and I could see that he had that connection with Spirit, where he had that whatever he was moving or motivated to do was directly tied to the Spirit, and that he, that there was a guidance, a parallel connection there that was driving him into whatever it is that we were gonna undertake. So I wanted to kind of lay that over what an affirmation and the energy of the affirmation means to me. How often do I remember to tap into spirit when I ask for a change or a energy force to be part of what's happening in my life? And then how long can I sustain that connection through meditation, through the power of concentration, and being able to carry that out into the daily activities after morning meditation. This idea that affirmation is like we are a bowl or a vessel that holds this this divine thread of what is possible for today, for us and for the world. And ultimately, are we using our power, our gift as humans, as souls here on this planet, as a way to bring down heaven on earth, that in the best form that we can, and to allow movement there for spirit to be a part of that, because it only works if spirit is with us in that very moment where we are projecting our desires, and how how absolutely refined can we get them in this concentration. And one of the hiccups with the affirmation thing is that we are asking a projection to produce a result, whatever it might be. And in our limited awareness of our minds, the result tends to create inside of us and for us doubt, and that can cause affirmations to, I believe, to falter. That the less doubt there is in this connection to spirit, the more potent, the more powerful, the more positive an affirmation can move and be. I also, when people talk about affirmations, they talk very much about starting from the place where you are at, and then building that energy inside of you, and creating a phrase or an idea inside of you, and then through meditation sending that energy out into the universe. But I was thinking about that, and for me, as sitting here in this existence, I feel very limited in that power. I can't really project that image out too easily. And I thought to myself, well, if I can get to the place where I can fully feel spirit, and then have that place project back into me here and now, that is kind of the full loop of the affirmation process. It's like tapping into spirit and having that super consciousness, bring it back into the little I am here standing before me, and I can feel that projection come through spirit back into me. I can tell that can be a little bit maybe too confusing, but as we go into our meditation period now, I wanted to move into what is called the 5 stages of chanting. And it is essentially the idea of chanting Om. And we're going to do this like with our voices, maybe 3 times to begin with. And then we'll go into a whisper and chant it. And then from there, we'll go into the mental state within us and chant it. And then we'll go into the subconscious state and then allow that superconscious state to bring it back to us. And when we do that with Om, that's the frequency, the natural frequency of the universe that has been described of bringing creation into fruition here. And if we can do this with concentration and we push our will into this movement, then on that Om, the thoughts that we have, that affirmation within us, can ride through all those stages into the subconsciousness and then into the superconsciousness, into the Great Spirit. And it can be essentially vibrating in all those inner chambers of ourselves. And it's important to start with our love and our devotion when we start thinking about projection and affirmations. So let us find our seat for meditation. Close our eyes, spine erect, and let us bring our consciousness to the third eye area, center, our place of projection into the spirit world. Take a few deep breaths and clear the mind. when we bring ourselves to the doorstep of the superconsciousness, the superconsciousness that resides everywhere, all around us, the creation itself. And we hear our own Om echoing back throughout the universe, back into our subconsciousness, back into our mind. Back out into the physical. Then I feel I have made that connection, and I've done it with the utmost concentration I can muster. And it is in that space when I think about affirmations like, "Your true self is well," I can approach it without a doubt, free of doubt, because we are connected at all levels with the Great Divine. And when we get to that space within us where we feel that energy, that light permeating throughout all existence, all along our bodies, every dust particle, and everything that we perceive as well outside of us, we really can see how this physical world is just another frequency that the Divine has created, and we are able to perceive that bandwidth as we gaze out into the land in front of us. But the consciousness that created all that is intelligent. And we are the tool, the consciousness of our minds is enough to be able to interact and co-create with the Divine. And when we are at peace, when we feel that movement of spirit inside of us, coming from that deep, deep place, we know that all things are possible, that everything that we experience within our bodies is because of the vibration that we are currently finding ourselves in. And that it's okay. We are deeper than that as souls. And we are here to be fully engaged in this creation. Yogananda says that the difference between matter and spirit is the rate of the vibration, a difference of degree, not of kind. And through the power of Maya, cosmic illusion, the Creator has caused the manifestation of matter to appear so distinct, so and specific, that to the human mind they seem unrelated in any way to spirit. But the fine vibration of the cosmic current permeates through both flesh and the life energy that surrounds it. And so with that understanding, if I go back and I read Yogananda's quote about soul force shattering rocks of difficulties, I approach it from a different point of view. I approach it from that point of view of being fully connected deep within the spirit, and not as an outsider trying to find my way back. With confidence and without doubt. So there is an absolute connection between unshakable faith and the power of affirmation and the power of projection. I'd like to end this meditation with one last quote from Yogananda. Mankind is engaged in an eternal quest for that something else he hopes will bring him happiness, complete and unending. For those individual souls who have sought and found God, the search is over. He is that something else. Divine Spirit, you are within each and every one of us. You have created this vessel that I perceive myself in. I connect with you in the deepest levels, and from that place might I project forth the healing affirmations needed to sustain that co-creation, that divine heaven on earth that you so desire as well. For my energy melts with yours and is one and the same. Amen.
Inshallah, inshallah, inshallah.